Amazing Jojo here with the first tutorial video for my new site, magicjoint.com, where professional talent meets the local artist. Today I'm going to teach you how to do my one-handed cut, a little something I like to call the Viper cut. Woo. Don't worry, because this is easy. I'm going to show you how it works. The first part of it is not actually mine. It belongs to a guy named John Cornelius. It's on his tape, The FISM Act. Now, of all the things I've ever bought in magic, I've learned more off of this than anything else, including my entire Tarbell collection. This tape taught me how to think like a magician. It changed my entire outlook. You would be an idiot not to buy this. If you were serious about magic, you need this. The good news is he's converted it to DVD, so you can still buy it today. It's worth every penny. And he's got a much more elaborate version of this cut too, so if you're really into one-handed cuts, you definitely want to get that. This is a short, simple version. We cut off about 2/3 of the deck and kick them out with your thumb into from your left hand to your right hand. And now we're going to do a Charlie A. Now if you don't know what a Charlie A is, I'm going to show you real quick. Let me show you that. The thumb is going to push up about half of the cards. The first finger will then push the bottom half up until the top half falls, and you can then complete the cut. And that's called the Charlie A. That is the most basic one-handed cut. Most one-handed cuts are based on this some way, shape, or form. For the Cornelius version, you kick off the 2/3, do the Charlie A. When the top half falls, put the extra half, the first half, onto top of them, and now complete the cut. And you have a completely false cut. The cards are in the same order. And it also leads me into what's known as the cradle position. The cards are gripped on each side, and they're not going anywhere. You don't need your thumb to hold them. It's known as the cradle position. It's a basic starting point for one-handed cuts. Now this particular sequence I came up with the help of Gary Darwin. When back in the 90s, Gino Maru used to run this Magic Club meeting every Wednesday night at this Korean restaurant. And I got to Vegas, I'm all excited, like, man, maybe Lance Burton will show up. And I get there and the meeting had been canceled. But Gary Darwin showed up in case any tourists showed up. And so I had a 2-hour one-on-one master session with Gary Darwin. Incredible, phenomenal. For a guy of my skill level, I learned so much. And one of the things he asked me is, what kind of stuff do you want to learn how to do? I said, well, I need some one-handed cuts, some fancy flourishes. I don't have any card stuff. And so he showed me a whole bunch of different cuts. I was like, wow, I didn't know there were so many. And I basically took some of the stuff he showed me and I sequenced them into one single cut. I kind of mashed them all together. And so the first one is a variation of the slip cut. And that's where you're going to take the top half and literally pull them to the back, and that's a very hard cut. It takes a lot of finger stretching to do that. That actually is painful at my age now for me to do that, but don't worry, because you don't have to do the slip cut. We're going to do an easier version. I don't know if I came up with this or if it's something he had shown me and I just don't remember. I can't remember. Maybe someone in the comments can shed some light. I don't remember exactly where this comes from, but at any rate, here's what it looks like. The first finger is going to cut into the cards about halfway, and I'm going to use the fingers to rotate the top half. Not like that, so there's an L. You can see they're crisscross now. That way the finger and the thumb are gripping the narrow end of the cards, and it makes the slip cut easier. So now it's an easy slip cut as opposed to a hard one. And I like the mechanical motion of the rotation because that adds to the whole sequence that I'm doing. Like that. Now after the slip cut, the first two fingers are going to spin the top half around. This is a variation of the Charlie A cut, and as I do that, the thumb will catch in so that I end up with the cards between the first finger and the thumb, and I'm in the position that I can now complete the Charlie A, and that's a variation of the Charlie A where you spin around. So the entire sequence here, the second phase of it: cut, rotate, slip cut, spin, Charlie A. It's easy. It's not hard. Do the Cornelius, kick, Charlie A, complete the cut, do the rotate, slip cut, spin, Charlie A. It's not hard. That's the sequence. Now the third phase is the fan toss, which is actually the easiest of it all. For this, you want a nice even fan. You could do this with a one-handed fan, but I used to, for a brief while, I was doing it with a one-handed fan because I thought it was nice to keep it all with one hand, but it's not surefire enough for me. I wanted 100%. 98%, 99%, that's not good enough. I want 100%, so I went back to just using my thumb. And you can see it's just a pure circular motion. Don't try to make the fan bigger. Just do a complete circle so that I'm going to take the hand off. You can see here how the cards are fanned. There's a little overlap there. You know, they're together, and that's going to make the catch easier. Now for this, I'm going to draw 2 X's, one on each shoulder, much like a juggler. I'm going to start at this X. I'm going to look at the cards with a big sweeping motion. Notice my knees bend. I sweep down and bring the cards up to the other X, where I will drop them. They will fall about 6 inches into my right hand, where I will very easily catch them. This is the illusion of skill. There is no skill. They just fall 6 inches. You easily catch them. The first time I had the idea to do this, it worked. I've never had to practice this. And now I'm going to sell it to the audience. This is what makes this effective. The right hand is going to drop down. I'll keep it in frame, while the left hand goes up. And notice the knees again bend, and I will pause like I just caught them, and like I'm balancing, like it's difficult. A very serious look on my face. And then I'm going to come up, cross my legs, hand on hip, fan my cards, and I'm going to be as cocky and arrogant as I can be about it. Do not undersell this. The audience thinks you spent years learning how to do something like this. Play it up. You can always come back and humble yourself later. For right now, you sell this with everything you've got. This is the most difficult thing that anybody in the world could ever do. Do not undersell it. Definitely not. Now, when I was younger, I would do this on stage. And when you're on stage, this becomes a full body illusion. You can see that I can still do a split. A little more painful than when I was younger, but if you're young and you're agile and you want something that plays big but packs small, the one-handed fan toss, the Viper cut, is a great little thing you can add into your card routine. And it's a false cut. The entire thing is false. So you can put this in anywhere you want. You can do this. You can do this in the beginning of your routine, the middle of your routine, the end of your routine, wherever you feel it fits in. And so that there is what I call the Viper cut. It has served me well for many, many, many years, and I hope that you get some mileage out of it also. And remember to check out my new website, magicjoint.com. It is going to be an awesome resource for magicians everywhere. This is just the first of many tutorials I'm going to put out. There's forums you can talk. We're going to have a lot of great stuff happening on this website. So make sure you sign up for an account. I'm the Amazing JoJo. That's my Viper cut. I'll see you at Magic Joint.